Let us be real for a second. Remember when flying used to be an event? People dressed up, the seats actually had padding, and you didn't feel like livestock being herded onto a metal tube. Well, those days are long gone. And if you're navigating airports and airplanes after the age of 70, the current state of air travel isn't just annoying, it can be downright physically and mentally exhausting. The long lines, the confusing terminals, the cramped seats, it's a lot to handle. And quite frankly, the airlines bank on you just accepting the discomfort or coughing up loads of extra cash to alleviate it. But here's the thing they don't advertise, the stuff that drives their accountants crazy because it costs them time and resources but costs you absolutely nothing. Your ticket, regardless of whether you bought basic economy or first class, comes with invisible strings, attached rights, and privileges that most people just don't know about. Today, we're going to pull those strings. We're breaking down 15 completely free things seniors can and absolutely should ask for on a flight. These aren't hacks that might get you kicked off. These are legitimate policy-based requests that can transform your travel experience from an ordeal into something manageable, maybe even pleasant. If you think airlines already nickel and dime us enough and you're ready to get some value back, go ahead and hit that like button right now to let me know you're on board with this mission. To understand why you can ask for these things, you have to understand the landscape. Airlines are heavily regulated in the United States, particularly regarding accessibility and health needs. They have tons of unadvertised protocols designed to help passengers who might need a little extra assistance. They don't put these on billboards because if everyone asked for them, the system would slow down. But if you're over 70, you've earned the right to use the system as it was intended. Don't feel guilty about it. You're just claiming what's available to ensure your safety and comfort. Let's get right into the list, starting with the things you need to handle before you even get on the plane. First on the list is something you probably know exists, but might feel hesitant to use: pre-boarding without the guilt trip. We've all seen the gate agents call for people needing extra time, families with small children, and active military. A lot of seniors hold back because they aren't in a wheelchair and they don't want to feel like they are cheating the system. Listen to me closely. If you're over 70, your joints don't move like they used to. The hustle of general boarding, where people are shoving carry-ons into overhead bins and blocking the aisle, is a fall risk waiting to happen. You do not need a visible disability to utilize pre-boarding. Simply approach the desk agent before boarding starts and say, "I need a little extra time getting down the jet bridge," and settled. That's it. Federal regulations require them to allow anyone self-identifying as needing extra time to board early. This gives you the chance to stow your bag without pressure, find your seat, and get situated before the chaos begins. It costs you nothing, but buys you peace of mind. Second, and this is a game changer for huge airports like Atlanta or O'Hare, is the Meet and Assist service. This goes way beyond just ordering a wheelchair. Navigating a massive terminal, finding the tram, reading confusing signage, and making a tight connection can be incredibly stressful. When you book your ticket, or even a few days before you fly, you can call the airline and request a Meet and Assist due to age or mobility concerns. This means an airline representative will meet you at the check-in counter and physically guide you through security and all the way to your gate. If you have a connection, they will be waiting at the plane door to take you to your next gate. Sometimes this involves a wheelchair, sometimes a motorized cart, and sometimes just a friendly escort walking beside you. It completely removes the anxiety of getting lost or missing a flight due to slow walking speeds. They don't advertise this well because it requires staffing, but it is absolutely a free service available to you. Moving on to the actual environment on the plane, the third thing you should ask for is a seating accommodation based on medical necessity without paying the preferred seat fee. Airlines love to charge $40, $60, or even $100 just to pick an aisle seat near the front. But if you have a legitimate medical reason, not just a preference, but a need, you can often bypass this fee. For example, if you have a fused knee, a hip replacement, or a circulatory issue that requires you to stretch your leg periodically, you need an aisle seat or a bulkhead seat. You shouldn't have to pay extra to not be in pain. The key here is how you ask. Don't say, "I want an aisle seat." Say, I have a medical condition that requires me to stretch my leg frequently to prevent swelling, so I need an aisle seat accommodation. If the gate agent sees you're an older traveler with a genuine need, they have the power to assign you those premium seats for free to ensure your safety in transit. It's about framing it as a health requirement, not a luxury choice. Fourth, let's talk about hydration, which is crucial when flying, especially as we get older. The air on a plane is incredibly dry, and dehydration can hit seniors harder, leading to fatigue and headaches. We all know the drink cart comes around, but that tiny cup of water with 3 ice cubes in it isn't enough for a 4-hour flight. You can absolutely ask the flight attendant for the whole can of water or soda, or to fill up your own reusable water bottle. They might hesitate if they're low on stock, but usually they are happy to oblige. Better yet, before the flight even takes off, when you're getting settled during that pre-boarding time we talked about, catch a flight attendant and say, "I need to take medication soon, and I get dehydrated easily. Could I please get a full bottle of water before we take off?" They almost always have large bottles in the galley and will bring you a full cup or a small bottle right away. You don't have to wait for the cart to get to row 25. Fifth, and this one is vital for your physical health on longer flights, is asking for the space to perform necessary exercises. We hear about the risk of deep vein thrombosis DVT or blood clots. Sitting sedentary for hours is terrible for circulation, especially after 70. While you can't do jumping jacks in the aisle, you can ask the flight attendants about the best time to stand up near the galley area to stretch your legs for a few minutes. If the seatbelt sign is off, you have the right to move about the cabin. By politely letting the flight attendant know, "I have poor circulation and my doctor advised me to stand every hour. I'm just going to stand near the back here for 5 minutes, so I'm not blocking the aisle. You are asserting your health needs." They will usually appreciate the heads up and point out a safe spot where you won't be in the way of the carts. It's free, and it could save your life. We are already a third of the way through our list, and I hope you're starting to see the pattern here. It's not about being demanding, it's about communicating your needs effectively in a system that would rather ignore them. If you're finding these tips helpful so far, do me a favor and consider subscribing to the channel. We talk a lot about how to navigate the world smartly and economically, and I wouldn't want you to miss out on future videos. Let's keep this momentum going with something that can make a huge difference in your actual comfort level while seated. The sixth item on our list is asking for extra pillows and blankets. I know, you're thinking they stopped giving those out years ago in coach. And mostly you're right. They aren't sitting on every seat anymore. However, almost every aircraft still stocks a limited supply of blankets and pillows in the overhead bins, usually reserved for first class or emergencies. If you're an older traveler and you're freezing because the plane is 60 degrees, or your back is killing you because the seats have zero lumbar support, ring that call button. Politely explain to the flight attendant that you're very cold or in pain and ask if they have a spare blanket or pillow available. Because inventory is low, you need to ask early as soon as you board. If they don't have pillows, ask for a blanket that you can roll up and place behind your lower back for support. It makes a world of difference on a 3-hour flight, and again, it costs $0 just to ask. Seventh on our list is something that relates to your medication and health needs that many seniors don't realize is an option: refrigeration for medication. If you're traveling with insulin, certain eye drops, or other temperature-sensitive medications, the stress of keeping them cool in a small insulated bag with those tiny ice packs can be overwhelming, especially on long-haul flights or if you face a long delay. While airline policies vary slightly, many will allow you to store your medication in the galley refrigerator if you ask nicely. Even if their specific policy forbids them from taking items from passengers for the fridge due to cross-contamination rules, they're almost always willing to provide you with a fresh bag of ice to replenish your cooler. Don't wait until your ice pack is a puddle of room temperature water. Simply ask a flight attendant, "I have medication that needs to stay cold. Would it be possible to put this in the fridge, or could I get some extra ice for my cooler bag?" Most are more than happy to help you keep your life-saving meds stable. Moving to the eighth point, let us talk about a major pain point: assistance with overhead bins. This is a tricky one because, technically, many airline contracts state that flight attendants are not required to lift heavy bags into overhead bins to prevent workplace injuries. However, If you're over 70 and clearly struggling, they are human beings, they will usually help. But here is the trick. You don't just stand there and struggle until you pull a muscle. When you board, catch the eye of the attendant in your section and say, "I'm so sorry, I've had some shoulder trouble lately. Would you mind helping me guide this in the bin?" By phrasing it as helping you guide it, rather than lift this for me, you're making it a collaborative effort. Better yet, they will often find a younger, able-bodied passenger to assist. It's about not being afraid to admit that lifting a 25-pound suitcase over your head isn't safe for you anymore. It's a free service of human kindness that the airline doesn't want to mandate, but it's always available if you ask with a smile. Ninth on the list is individual safety briefings. We've all seen the flight attendants do the buckle your seatbelt dance in the aisle. And let us be honest, most people tune it out. But if you have hearing loss, or if the cabin noise makes it hard to understand the intercom, you can ask for a private briefing. Federal law actually requires airlines to provide an individual briefing to any passenger who may need assistance to move expeditiously to an exit in an emergency. If you're feeling a bit overwhelmed by the exits or how to use the oxygen mask because the demonstration was too fast or too far away, just press that call button. Say, "I had a hard time hearing the safety announcement. Could you quickly show me where my nearest exit is and how this oxygen mask works?" They are legally obligated to ensure you understand, and it ensures that in the unlikely event of an emergency, you aren't left guessing what to do. 10th is a big one for those who might have dietary restrictions, but didn't realize they could request a special meal on short notice. Now, usually you have to request a special meal like low sodium or diabetic friendly 24 to 48 hours in advance. But let's say you forgot or your flight was changed. Don't just suffer through a snack box filled with salt-heavy processed junk. Many flights carry a few extra crew meals or buy on board items that are much healthier. If you explain to the attendant, "I'm a diabetic and I really need something with less sugar or salt than what's on the card. Do you have any alternatives?" They will often go into the galley and find something for you, sometimes even raiding the first-class snack basket for some nuts or fruit. It never hurts to ask, and when it comes to managing your blood sugar or blood pressure mid-flight, it's worth the 30 seconds of conversation. If you're finding these tips useful, I'd love for you to share this video with a friend or a family member who has a trip coming up. We're all in this together, and the more we share these insider tips, the more comfortable all of us will be when we travel. 11th, let's talk about seat swaps for couples. There is nothing more stressful for a senior couple than being separated by 10 rows because the airline's auto-assign system decided to split you up to save the good seats for paying customers. Airlines hate it when people play musical chairs, but they hate a medical emergency or a distressed passenger even more. If you and your spouse are separated, don't wait until you're on the plane to try and fix it. Go to the gate agent first. If they can't help, wait until you are boarded and explain the situation to the flight attendant. Tell them, "My husband has some mobility issues and I really need to be next to him to assist him." Using the word assist or caregiver changes the dynamic from a preference to a necessity. Flight attendants are masters at finding a solo traveler like a young person who doesn't care where they sit and asking them to swap so a senior couple can stay together. It's a free way to ensure you have the support system you need right next to you. 12th is priority deplaning assistance. Getting off the plane can be just as chaotic as getting on. People are grabbing bags, pushing past each other, and it's easy to get bumped or lose your balance. If you feel like you need a moment to gather yourself, you can ask the flight attendant to let you stay seated until the initial rush is over. But here is the free part. If you have a tight connection and you're worried you want to make it because you walk a bit slower, tell the flight attendant before you land. They can often coordinate with the ground crew to have a cart waiting right at the door of the plane, or in some cases, they may even ask the rest of the passengers to stay seated for a moment, so those needing assistance can exit first. They don't do this often because it delays the turnaround of the plane, but if you express a genuine concern about your safety or your connection, they have the authority to make it happen. 13th on our list is complimentary comfort items that used to be standard but are now hidden. I'm talking about things like earplugs, masks, or even basic dental kits on longer flights. Even on domestic flights, many airlines keep a comfort kit in a drawer for passengers who are visibly distressed or unable to sleep. If the person next to you is snoring like a chainsaw or the reading light 3 rows up is shining right in your eyes, don't just sit there and suffer. Ask, I'm having a really hard time resting. Do you happen to have any earplugs or an eye mask available? Often, they have a stash from the international flights or first-class cabins that they can slip to you. It's a small gesture that can turn a miserable flight into a restful one. 14th, and this is a very practical one, assistance with the moving parts of a seat. Modern plane seats are like puzzles. Between the reclining button, the adjustable headrest, the tray table latches, and the personal entertainment screen, it can be a lot to figure out, especially since every plane model is different. Don't sit there in the dark trying to figure out how to turn on the reading light or why your screen won't work. Ask for a seat orientation. A flight attendant can show you in 10 seconds how to adjust your headrest for neck support or how to stow your tray table without pinching your fingers. They are there for your safety and comfort. Let them help you understand the equipment you're sitting in. Finally, for this part of the list, the 15th thing is connecting gate updates. While many people use apps on their phones, looking at a tiny screen while walking through a crowded airport is a recipe for a fall. You can ask your flight attendant as you're descending to look up your connecting gate and arrival terminal on their handheld device. They have real-time information that is often more accurate than the screens in the terminal. Knowing exactly where you need to go before you even step off the plane saves you from that panicked, "Where am I?" moment when the doors open. It allows you to plan your route, find the nearest restroom, and proceed at a pace that is safe for you. Now, everything we've talked about so far covers the business as usual part of flying. But as anyone who has traveled recently knows, the airlines are struggling. Flight delays, sudden cancellations, and lost luggage have become the new normal. For a younger traveler, a 4-hour delay is an annoyance and a chance to sit at the airport bar. For someone over 70, that same delay can be a health hazard, a logistical nightmare, and a source of extreme physical stress. This is where we move from simple requests to pro-level strategies. The airlines won't offer these up willingly because they cost money, sometimes thousands of dollars, but you have every right to ask. When a flight is significantly delayed or canceled, the first thing most people do is join the massive 200-person line at the gate agent's desk. Do not do this. If you're 70 or older, that line is the last place you should be. Instead, find a seat, pull out your phone, and call the airline's customer service line or use their app. Better yet, look for a customer service center away from the gate. But here is the secret. While you're on the phone or talking to an agent, you need to use the senior priority card. Politely tell the agent, "I am 70 years old. I have medical requirements that need to be met, and I cannot stand in this terminal for another 6 hours. What can you do to get me on the next available flight, even if it's on a different airline?" Airlines have interline agreements that allow them to put you on a competitor's plane if they've messed up your original schedule. They hate doing this because they have to pay the other airline for your seat. They will tell you the next flight on their airline is tomorrow morning. You need to push back. Ask, is there a flight on Delta or United that has space? My health requires me to get to my destination today. When you frame it as a health and safety issue, you move to the top of their priority list for rebooking. If the delay is going to be overnight, this is where you must be firm about a hotel and meal voucher. Many airlines try to claim that delays caused by weather don't require them to provide a hotel. However, the definition of weather is often stretched by airlines to cover up for staffing shortages or mechanical issues. If you're stranded, ask to speak to a supervisor. Tell them, "I am a senior citizen stranded in a city where I have no accommodations." It is the airline's responsibility to ensure I have a safe place to sleep. More often than not, they will find a voucher for a nearby hotel with a shuttle service. This isn't just about saving $150 on a hotel room, it's about your safety. Staying in a secure hotel is infinitely better for your well-being than trying to sleep on a plastic chair in a terminal. Speaking of things going wrong, let us talk about mobility devices and luggage. If the airline loses or damages your suitcase, you're entitled to compensation up to $3,800 for domestic flights. But here is the airlines hate this secret for seniors. If they damage your wheelchair, walker, or any assistive device, the standard liability limits do not apply. Under the Department of Transportation rules, for domestic flights, the airline is liable for the original purchase price of the device, not a depreciated value. If they break your $5,000 motorized scooter, they owe you $5,000 to replace it. Do not let them give you a generic baggage claim form and a $50 voucher. Demand to speak to the CRO, the complaint resolution official. Every airline is required by law to have one available, either in person or by phone, to handle disability and mobility-related issues. They're the ones with the power to fix the situation immediately. Another thing you should absolutely ask for, and this one is for your family members who might be dropping you off, is a non-passenger escort pass. If you are worried about navigating security or getting to your gate alone, your son, daughter, or spouse can ask the check-in agent for a gate pass. This allows them to go through TSA security with you and stay with you right up until the moment you board the plane. It's exactly like a boarding pass, but for someone who isn't flying. It's a free service that provides an incredible amount of emotional support and physical help, ensuring you aren't left alone to figure out a changing gait or a long walk. As we wrap this up, I want you to remember one thing. The airline industry is a business, but you are a human being with rights that don't expire on your 70th birthday. In fact, many of these rights become even more important as you age. The 15 free things we VE covered, from pre-boarding and hydration to medical seating and refrigeration, are all tools in your belt to make sure you can keep traveling, seeing your grandkids, and exploring the world without it taking a toll on your health or your wallet. The airlines might not like it when you ask for these things because it requires them to provide the service they actually promised when they sold you that ticket. But you've spent decades paying into this system, and you've earned the right to fly with dignity. Don't let a grumpy gate agent or a confusing app stop you from claiming what's yours. I hope this video has given you the confidence to speak up on your next trip. If you found even one of these tips useful, please give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment below. I want to hear your stories. Have you ever asked for one of these things and had to change your flight? Or maybe you have a senior travel hack of your own that I missed. Let us start a conversation in the comments and help each other out. And if you want more deep dives into how to navigate the world as a savvy traveler, make sure you're subscribed and have that notification bell turned on. We have a lot more coming up that you won't want to miss. Safe travels, stay hydrated, and remember, you are the boss of your own travel experience. Would you like me to create a printable checklist of these 15 items that you can tuck into your passport holder for your next flight?